first episode of Why. So this series, we will discuss about the trends and issues in our country, Philippines. As you can see, I am wearing a mask because I suffered allergy rhinitis. And then we are outside. We always hear the chickens clucking and also the whispers of the birds. But we will not just discuss about um, happenings in my environment, but we will discuss the most important thing that many are asking. So aside from talking about coronavirus, as I am not a medical expert, as a teacher, social science teacher, so that's why we will discuss also the the happenings in relation with social science. Why did oil price decreases? So we will talk it in relation with because of the implementation of enhanced community quarantine. So most of us stayed at home instead of going outside using our cars, riding tricycles or jeepneys to do to buy or to do something irrelevant of our wants and needs. Based on our economic code, if the demand decreases and the supply remains unchanged, it will lead to lower equilibrium price. So that's why we will ask some insights of why did oil or petroleum price decreases. Okay, we will read your answers coming from Sir Jesus Tukib. It says that it's a supply and demand thing. Since there is limited mobility and limited utilization of oil in the transport business, the demand decreases. Not to mention price freeze, normally musagad ang presyo. It is called price floor. This is not just movement on the market but global due to the pandemic. And also he added that's on the economic side, but since you mentioned trends, one reason could be the dictate of US economy. We usually says when US coughs, the whole world sneezes. It means apektado ang tibok kalibutan tungod sa nahitabo sa ekonomiya sa Amerika. They are 65% down, so we will expect major products will also go down as well. And hopefully magpabili na siyang ngunani with the transition of the new main global market player, which now China or Russia. From Marian Carl, she says kay tungod daghan nag-supply. And also from Furuiki Tetsuya, he says because nag-start silag price war sa Russia and Saudi. So that's why the oil price decreases. So thank you for your answers. Read their insights about the reasons why did oil price decreases. So we will discuss about bakit why did oil price decreases. So based on OPEC, so if we will say OPEC, it means Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries. As we can see in 2014, so the price of petroleum per barrel reaches $120. And but at the end of March 19, 2020, it became $22 per barrel. So it decreases for almost 80%. As China was 80% importer of oil demand in 2019, as China suffers COVID-19, so the government of China imposes total lockdown in almost all provinces to avoid COVID-19 cases around in their country. As China was 80% importer of fuels, that's why it is one of the main reason as the demand decreases, also the price of petroleum decreases. So based on Reuters that the world will suffer, or OPEC will suffer, 2.5 million barrels per day decrease of demand in the world. So because of COVID-19 pandemic. As we all know that most countries around the globe imposes enhanced community quarantine or total lockdown to contain COVID-19. So if the lockdown imposes in every country, also the transportation will be reduced. That's why the demand of fuel so will also decrease. So as we can see that our market is flooded with fuel. So why? As we can see, as we read the post from Reuters again, Saudi Arabia increased oil production to 2.6 million barrels per day, or it means 25% increase of oil production starting 2020. But 2020 suffered COVID-19 pandemic, which is the main reason that the demand of fuel also was greatly affected because of it. As of 2020, based on study, during the first quarter of 2020, 1.8 million barrels per day decrease of demand in China. It means that the demand of oil will be greatly reduced. So that's why as market was flooded with oil, that's why they need to sell petroleum in a very cheap price. And then, on global study, 2.5 million barrels per day were reduced in demand in the world. So because also of COVID-19 pandemic. Uh, um, the OPEC were forced to sell their products in a very cheap price. But expected second half of 2020, the great recovery of oil demand will be starting back to normal. That's why, as we can see, that China was one of the main reasons. The great decrease of demand from Chinese um, on petroleum imports. So that's why the OPEC, or the market of petroleum, was suffering from this kind of pandemic, COVID-19. That's why I do hope that this educational vlog will help you about on answering the reasons of whys. And this is Teacher Cyrus. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell button of our channel so that you will be updated on our future videos. Thank you and God bless.